This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I ask that you would consider this your vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever and however you receive podcasts, would you please go back and subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? If you could leave a rating and a brief written review, it will be helpful in assisting others to locate this podcast. And please spread the word on to your friends and family to listen and to subscribe to this podcast. I really appreciate your help. I really do. Today I want to talk about how to get a vision. I meet a lot of people that feel like that is so esoteric, that is so far beyond them, that rather than getting their own vision for their own life, they just sort of attach themselves to others and work like worker bees to get the vision of others done. But there is a plan and a purpose for your life. I don't care where you are or what you do or how many times you've fallen down in the past. There is something that you can do. You can make a very significant impact, not only in your own life and the life of your family and friends, but really for this entire world. So this will be a review for those who have gone through strategies to come up with their own vision. But for some of us today, this may be a new exercise. Here you are, you feel a little stuck. How do I get a vision to move my life forward? Let's talk about it for a moment. There will be some ways, but here's what I want you to hear me saying right now. Your vision, or lack thereof, your vision will limit you more than your abilities. The person with the most abilities is not necessarily the one who wins at the end of the day. In the college I attended, I'd have been nowhere near the top of people that anyone thought would have been successful. And I have in my mind's eyes a couple of people who were thought to be the people who were going to leave that college and were going to have an impact. Unfortunately, one of them died a very tragic young death. Another, I have no idea where they even are today. So if you're basing your life strictly on your talent and your abilities, I want to tell you, go into any bar in my country, and it is filled with talented people who've never done anything with it. Your vision, what you believe God has for you to do, and what you can do, and the difference you can make, not having that vision will limit you far more than your talent and ability. If it's about ability, you can go on YouTube and learn how to do anything from tying a shoe to building a car. So if it's an ability thing, you can be taught. But if you have no vision and no passion for life, no really belief that you are here for a reason, that is the limitation. I love the quotes of Helen Keller and her heroic life story. Somewhat because my grandmother, who was such a significant impact in my life, was totally blind. But someone asked Helen Keller if she could think of anything worse than being blind. And she said, there is something much worse than being blind, and that would be to have sight, but to have no vision. And vision in the English language is a play both on eyesight and mind sight, being able to see things into the future, where I want to be and what I want to do. Vision really is nothing more than aiming at something. As a matter of fact, the whole exercise is perhaps more important than the goal, because it's better to aim at something out there and not hit it, but you will still be farther into the distance. You will propel yourself into the future more than if you aimed at nothing. So here we are today. What are the mechanisms? What are the things that I need to do, the exercises to work through in order to have a vision for what my life can be? I think the very first thing is to explore your passion and then your talent. And I listed passion first for a reason, because it's passion that gets people out of bed in the morning. It is truly the passionate people who have changed the world, not people who are so-so about it, people who are somewhat committed. It takes passionate people to make a difference. Now, talent and gifting are important. There are certain things that you are predisposed to like and to be able to do. So maybe what you ought to do right at first is take a passion and talent audit. Look at your life and say, what are the things that I really believe in, that really get me going, get my motor going? I get very impassioned about when I speak about it. Those are going to be the kinds of things that will drive your vision and the kinds of things that you'll want to be involved with. And then also do an audit of what are your talents, what are your likes and your dislikes. I'm also asking you to do this as a written exercise. There is something nearly magical and mystical that happens between a pencil and a pen and a piece of paper and your brain, that it just sort of gets your juice flowing, and it just seems to become much more deeply embedded in your heart and mind if you write it down. So explore is the first word. Explore your passion and talent. The second, we're going to use a vision word. Envision what your life and future may look like. Now, this is especially true if you are somewhat dissatisfied of where you are presently. But even if you're in a good spot right now, leader, there should still be some holy discontent with the status quo. There should be some sense or passion in your heart that things can change, things can be different. Yes, things can be better. What would you, if you lived in a perfect world and you had absolute control of the future, what would you like that to look like in your life, your family, and where do you want to go, and where do you want to be in your future? Now, don't limit yourself. I mentioned earlier that your vision will limit you more than your ability. But here's the other thing I want to say about the limits that we put on ourselves. Never surrender your vision and never surrender your dreams to your fateful limitations. Perhaps you picked up on it in childhood. Perhaps your parents were not nurturing and encouraging your dreams. Perhaps it was in school where you were made fun of or laughed at. Perhaps it was even in a job that was ill-fitting, that you just thought, I'm going to go to the lowest common denominator, and that is where I'm going to live. Don't limit yourself. You know the saying that we use, the sky is the limit. Take the limitations off. Allow your dreams to be the boundaries and the limitations for your future, not what's happened to you in the past. Let's just stop here for a moment, because something that's very important to consider is this. Stop letting the limitations and what you believe were setbacks or maybe even failures to keep you stuck where you are right now. I don't care how old you are. Even if you are a retirement age person, still you have the ability to live out your dreams. Leaders, we don't need leaders with more degrees. We need leaders with more dreams. We don't need leaders who tell us what can't be done and remind us once more what all of the limitations are. We need dreamers, leaders who say, go for it. Things can be better. Things can change. Don't limit yourself to what someone told you, to some past experience. Don't allow the limitations to keep you being stuck. Now, get some feedback from people. Oftentimes, especially if you feel you're in a situation where you're stuck, is you really can't see all of the gifts and talents that you have, or all of the abilities that are yours. Now, I'm not talking from someone who's overly negative or someone who has a harsh opinion of life and of you, but someone who is a friend, someone you can trust. You can trust their heart. You can trust them to be honest, and you can trust them with a fair and accurate appraisal. But get some feedback. There are so many good books. There are even, if you're not ready to get into a book, there are so many good blogs and podcasts, episodes across the spectrum about how to receive a vision, how you can be who you need to be. Now, one of the things, as we talk about a vision of the future, many people, just by their disposition and maybe past experiences, have a very difficult time seeing 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future. And that you may be one of those who can only see so far ahead. But here's what I want to challenge you with. Keep stretching the boundaries of what you believe are possible, and stretch the boundaries of whatever limitations you have allowed to be placed on yourself. And maybe even if you can't see 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years into the future, and you can only see so far ahead, remember this: there's always plenty to do tomorrow and next week and next month. But you have to start with a vision today of what you want to see happen. Now, I'm going to give you 5. There are certainly more categories, but I would encourage you to get a vision and to set some goals in 5 areas of your life: spiritual, financial, your career or work life, your health, and your relationships. Now, these 5 that I've given you, you can do many more, but let's just, for sake of argument today, limit it to these 5. There's one overarching thing that I want you to remember both about: spiritual, financial, career, health, relationship, vision, and goals. In order to move forward, there are some of you listening to me right now. The best thing you can do is to begin to work on your past hurts. What is it that has gone into your life that has really caused you a lot of pain? That is indeed where you need to start working on. Let go of them. Talk to someone. Give it to God. Just do your best to work on that, because if not, it has a crippling effect that can keep people stuck for the entirety of their lives. Every person you pass this week has past hurts, has past disappointments and setbacks, but you cannot live there and you can't become stuck. So let's just talk about spiritual. Now, you may not be a spiritual person. I happen to be a believer in Jesus Christ. So spiritually, I set goals and visions: how much time in Bible reading and prayer and living out my faith. Secondly, financial. There are lots of areas you can go depending on your own circumstance. I would say if you're a person in debt, especially revolving credit card and automobile and student debt, I would find some good literature that helps me to know and set my vision and goal of becoming debt-free. As a person who is now in his early 60s, I would encourage you, from the youngest person living to the oldest person living, start setting things up and away and putting money away for your retirement years. You're not always necessarily going to have the job you have today. You may not even always have your health. So putting money away. Now, saving, let me tell you when the best time to save for retirement was. The best time for anyone to save for retirement was 20 years ago. That's when you should have started. Can I tell you when the second best time to begin saving for retirement is? Today. Start right now. Set other kinds of financial goals. For some of you, it will be setting some money aside so that you'll be able to have a down payment to buy a house. For others, it will be to put some money away into accounts so that you can help your children with their college education. I don't know what your financial goals are and vision, but get a vision of being financially free and helping yourself, and also that you can give away and tithe and give to bless others. The third area that I would look at is your career. What is the vision you have for your work life? Where would you like to be? What would you like to do? Begin writing it down. It could mean all sorts of things, that you need to develop a skill set. You may need to go to school. You may need to go in and ask your boss for a raise. You may need to learn to find ways to make yourself indispensable at work. All of those are available. You just need to sit down and get the vision and then work out the goals to enable that vision to become reality. How about your health? Are you overweight? You need to get a vision on losing weight. Getting to the gym, getting a personal trainer, starting to walk, starting to eat more healthy, starting to cut certain things out of your diet. Your body, you'll not go any farther than your body. And so when we're young, we can run our bodies hard and run it on impure fuel. But right now, you're going to have to start putting better things into the tank and taking care of yourself. And I think the last area would be in the area of relationships with your parents, your spouse, your children. How would you like to envision those relationships going, being deeper rooted and stronger? All I'm saying is these are the areas, and this is not something you can do in 90 seconds and write it all out and it's good. Because when you get a vision, then you have to develop the plan. How am I going to get from where I am right now to where I desire to be? If you're going to be a leader, my friend, you have to get a vision. You have to get a vision on how you can be better and how life can be better. So explore your passion and talents and vision what your future life will look like. Don't limit yourself and work on your past hurts. Get feedback, but never surrender your dreams to whatever fateful limitations you or others have placed on you. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that today this has been like a vitamin or supplement for your heart and mind. And wherever you receive podcasts, please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, and it would be so helpful if you'd leave a rating and a brief written review. And remember, my leader friend, you are doing better than you think you are. And until next time, have a blessed day.